Hello, guys. How you doing today? Welcome to your favorite show, FarmerHubTV, once again. Thank you for joining us and being part of the show. And sorry that the video and audio might not be as clear as it is right now. Where I have a little issue at my area where the wildfire is going on and everything is affected the power. So I'm just doing direct from my laptop right now. So just to make sure that we come to you guys live as we promised. Today we're going to be having a wonderful guest back on the show. It's our own able Ernest Akpede. He's a catfish farmer who runs his business from the Diaspora, and he's been able to have a successful business going on, and he's been an encouragement to a lot of us that it can be done for while you're out of the country, and it's been wonderful talking to him once again. So I'm going to bring it back on here. Today's topic is going to be about inflation in catfish farming and how we can, successfully navigate through it, and so that we can have a successful business going. So join me in welcoming Mr. Ernest Akpede. Hello, good day, Ernest. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Fine. Thank you so much for joining
Awesome.
us once again, for being part of our show. Um, like you said, you don't need any introduction again because you've been on the show once before. But I'm still going to go ahead and let our viewers know this is Mr. Ernest Akpede, the CEO of Akpede Farms in Nigeria. And he's someone that is an inspiration to most of us out of the country because he's been able to run a successful cat farm without being physically in Nigeria, though he goes off back home off and on, but he's been able to do it. While a lot of people have not been able to be successful, but he's been able to manage one, and he's an encouragement to a lot of people. So he's here to talk up to us today about inflation in the catfish farming business, and um, first of all, let's just let him do a little bit of introduction and let us know how things has been going on with you, with the farm and all that.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me back on your show. Like I told you backstage, I am a fan of it. I think it's pretty nice to
Thank you.
have a platform where people can come in and get knowledge, especially with what we do in farming. Because
Yeah,
I do come to your program on YouTube to view a few other type of farming because I'm also
no,
interested in such other
that's good.
farming as
Thank
well.
you.
So you're doing a great job, and thank you for the
Thank you so
introduction. I
much.
think I'm too gorgeously, but I
Well, we have to say
appreciate.
it the way it is. If we don't celebrate ourselves, who else is going to do that? So we have
I
to,
agree.
blow our own hands, right?
I agree. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. So yeah, I have been able to, with a good team on my side and with proper management, we'll be able to keep the farm. Um, we just have a lot of people do what they need to do, and that makes it easy for the company as a whole to succeed. So I want to just discuss a few things like you to keep it going, especially in this time in Nigeria where inflation is at a all-time high. So if you're there and you're wondering, well, how does it affect really catfish farming? Most of what we use is bought from other farmers, like raw
Yeah,
materials for our feed
yeah,
production. Feed production takes up to 70% of your so that is a big deal to look into. So if the
yeah,
price of maize is going up, it would affect your production. If the price of soybeans, a little input you use to produce your feed, if those are being affected, it would affect your production. So we have to pay attention to how the market is being regulated, how the
mm,
price is being regulated as well. So it's quite discouraging, honestly, for a few farmers at this time of the year, at this time in Nigeria where things are high. You know, as in looking at if I put in so much money in producing, then I have to sell at a higher price rate. That way I can make my own
Price, yeah.
profits. It's just me. So I'm encouraging a few farmers. I'm just going to share a few tips that I use to keep my business running and without having to deal much. I guess I get impacted most of what I buy to make my production is in Nigeria. So of course I get impacted as well. But these are a few tips that helps me keep the farm and keep my
Yeah.
paid and get profit at the end of the day.
Mm.
So the one thing I would say is I notice some farmers do this is they try to cut down on the cost of their employees and just to keep the business going. I
Mhm.
personally do not recommend you do that. And this piece of what I'm gonna say is more or less what existing farmers.
Mm.
Eventually, before the end of the session, we'll talk about interning farmers. But if you're a farmer already, or you have people working at your farm, I think that you keep the pay the way it is, and if you can, to see what you can do to even give them a raise because they are the driving force of your business. So if
Oh yeah.
they'll be willing to work well for you. I think that's just the first way to look at this. So you need to
Mm.
be willing to see how you can keep it. So if we are looking at how to reduce cost of production, that way we can make profit. And it's
Mm.
not on the payroll for sure. Payroll needs to stay there. We just have to look for all those. I tell my team that we're gonna keep it the way it is. We just have to look for other means to reduce our operational costs without compromising on quality, of course.
Quality, yeah.
So that what you're producing is still solid, so you're not
Mm.
compromising on their feed. So the first um, um, point on my list is finding raw materials at a decent price, right? So
Mm.
one way to do this is, I know you already have your friends that are supplying you your. Okay, let me say this with the way I operate my farm, and when it comes to feed, how I feed my fishes. The first month I do not produce because it's a very fragile stage for the fishes. They're still very very small, so they need a higher percentage of protein. So what I
Protein,
do
yeah.
is I have to get foreign brands that they formulated their feed in such a way that it has a higher percentage, like
Mm.
65 to 70% of protein. Because they're just like babies. At a very early age, you want to make sure you feed them with the right nutrition and diet. That way they can
Mm.
grow profitable to you as a farmer. So at the very first 1 month, some farms they feed foreign feeds the first and the second month. But with the way things are, high price of everything, I think 1 month is fair. You can still successfully get foreign feed for 1 month. That's what I do. So the
Yeah.
first month, then I start with my right. So
Mm-hmm.
what I then try to do is I try to look for ways to save costs. So instead of because previously what I do is I go twice a month to transport my raw materials from where I get it from.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that's twice the time, right? And that so what I do now is I just order once a month.
Okay.
That way I increase the volume of what I order for my
Mm.
raw materials, and at the same time I reduce on the transportation. It's
Transportation cost, yeah.
trying to cut costs in that angle, right? So these are like the little things you do to try to balance up. And when you sometimes buy more than you normally will, you get discounts from the factories you buy your raw materials from. So the more you buy, the more opportunities you have to get discounts from the factory
Oh,
you're buying from. So
yeah.
that's one way to kind of balance this inflation that's going on right now in the market that's discouraging so many farmers. So yes, we want to be that also applies to when you buy your fingerlings. Um, if you have a projection to buy, let's say 5,000 fingerlings, it's always important to look for reliable vendors. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not. Most of the vendors, I don't know if the word most, some of the vendors in Nigeria are not quite credible because I've had to personally do business with them. And sometimes they give you a number that I'm going to supply you X amount of fishes, and they offer, they send you less than what you guys are doing. And then you for trying to argue and then count, and it just gets all messy. I had to
Yeah.
deal with one recently. The current production I'm on, I ordered 50 pouches, and then the vendor supplied less than what we agreed on, and that's why I always count. I have a segment, I have a portion of my make
Mm.
sure we count, make sure that what was supplied was what we paid for. And then I realized that it was short, and then I went back and forth with the vendor, and that's just another day. You know,
Mm.
try. It can be challenging sometimes to get reliable vendors, but if you can, tight, make sure you relationship with them because they will save you in the long run. Because say you budget for 5,000 fishes and you have X amount of money set aside for that, and then they supply you less than that back into your operational cost to
Yeah.
get from another vendor, right? So that's kind
Mm.
of affecting your production. So while you're trying to save on the raw material, there's ways to save on good deals from good
Good
vendors
deals.
in
Yeah.
terms of the fish that
Mm.
so that's one thing to look into. And the second angle, um, I have my list here, that way I don't miss one of them out. So
Okay.
it's to network. It's to network with farmers. So you have to look for ways to connect with farmers and see how they are running their farms at this time of the at this time in Nigeria where inflation is high, where things are expensive. So they might know that they do deals from, right? So they can then connect you to that vendor. Or they might have a place where they get raw materials for a decent price and then they connect to the price. So it's always good to connect yourself with all those vendors that are doing similar things. Then they can
Okay.
try to see how they can show you how they get their raw materials. So you can keep your production. You don't want to just you're really not an island when it comes to farming, especially business in Nigeria. You need to network. You need to have a group of people you connect that are actually the same thing doing. So it's always good to be able to network and ask information. Now, some of those informations you have to pay for. They would not give you
Yeah.
all of that. So I am in the process of getting information. I'm constantly consulting with a few other farmers. You know, Eventually I'm going to expand my so have right now in terms of other types of farming. So
Mm.
not just I'm not just paying for myself. I'm also paying for my team to get the knowledge, right? So
Yes.
some of these things are free, and you just have to be open as a business person. Okay,
Mm.
not all is free. You have to be willing to invest in it, but it will save you in the long run because the right information will save you thousands of naira or dollars, as the case
Oh
may
yeah.
be. So business is first time. So
Mm.
it's important to work with other farmers and people. And also, the third point I would say is know your market. Okay,
Mm.
so the reason why I know your market is in this time when prices of everything is going up, even the prices of catfish is also going up. We're not going to spend so much money to that production and not expect ourselves because we have to
Mm.
make our profit, right?
Oh yeah.
So to know what the pricing in your area is for a 1 kg catfish or whatever size you to sell. So that way you're not running at a loss. So if the market is saying that it's selling for 1,000 naira for a kg catfish, for example, so you need to sell within that. If you sell short than that, you will lose. You would put yourself at a loss.
Mm.
So you need to know what the market is constantly saying. It's not just about selling, but are you profitable to you, the farmer? So when it's harvest time, don't be in a hurry to sell. Look, do a market study. during the harvest period,
Mm.
they're selling, and take that data back to your farm, and then look at what you have, and then do the math. Keep record of your production from day one. Then you know how much you, and then you can now know how much you're selling and know how much profit you have. So it's always
Yeah.
good to know what the market is saying. And as a side note to that, when you let's say you're targeting 1 kg weight of fish, right? So make sure that up to 70% of what you have, is 1 kg, because fish they don't grow at the same time. They grow at different paces. But just
Mm.
ensure that up to 70% of your stock to kg before you sell. If not, you'll be running at a loss. These are just from my own personal experience, right? So these are not set to stone. This is what I did.
Experience, yes.
I could share it. So if at least up to 70% of what you have is profit is up to 1 kg, if your target is 1 kg, then you should be
Mm.
a good place to sell. So it's always good to have that at the back of your mind as well. So know what the market
Mm.
is saying, what the market is selling. Inflation is around, it's going across everything. So that includes catfish as well, either smoked or fresh. So the
Mm.
price that I sold my last production, I will have the same price of this current production right now. So once it's harvest time, we are scheduled to harvest late next month or middle October. So once it's time to harvest and sell, I'm not going to sell the price, that I sold previously because the market has gone up. So that's how
Yes.
it is. I always try to keep myself updated with the pricing.
With the
Very
price,
important.
yeah.
You So it's
Mm.
always good to, know that. And one other way to, check for how effective your run farm is the water production. So how do you produce water for your farm? Let's
Mm.
say you have one borehole and it's taking you like, let's say 6 hours to pump water for that. Then it might be a good idea to invest in another borehole
Another
because
one, yeah.
the longer it takes to fill up your pond, it's more you're spending more diesel. So you need to look for a way to reduce that cost down, either by
Mm.
setting up a different borehole, or think of the getting a solar panel set up at your farm. And that is
Yeah.
quite expensive.
Mm.
But weigh out your options because trust me, like my farm, I spend an average of 160 to 180 per production on just diesel.
Wow.
On just diesel, so it gets, that goes into, but there are
Cause
ways to.
yeah.
I'm thinking of, okay, how can I reduce that cost? So now we are working with a team to see how we can switch to solar.
Yeah.
It works now. But if that is not what you're looking into, you can think of, setting up a different borehole. That way you're getting your water really, and you're not spending
Mm.
time and labor just waiting for the entire pump. Depending on how big your farm is, right?
Yes.
So that's that's one way I think also the process. Try to be more efficient by looking at angles where, because all those little extras you're spending, it all adds
Mm.
up. Over a period of months, it all adds up. So your goal as a business person is to see how you can eliminate all the miscellaneous costs that you can
Yes. Cost, yeah.
do. So
Mm.
for my team, my farm, we're switching to solar, probably before the end of the year or early next year. We're trying to see how we can switch, and that way we can use of diesel. So the only thing we'll be using the generator for will be our feed production. But in
Mm.
terms of machine and powering the aerator system, filtration system that we will be installing shortly, all those will be powered by the solar system. And then
Mm.
we're now going to switch the system will be powered by generator. That's the only thing we'll use. And we produce like once a month, so we don't use
Mm.
that all the time.
all the time.
So
Yeah,
that is like percent of what we buy. Unless we get to the season where we now start, we're in raining season and then we don't have that much sunlight, then we can now switch to generator. But you have just generator and the local power system as your
yeah.
source only. You spend more on diesel, and even diesel and fuel there also has, it's all expensive now. So even
And it can
though
also be scarce sometimes. There are times you
exactly,
just won't get a diesel.
exactly. So and your
Uh,
their water as at when
yeah,
you need to as at when so these are you cannot compromise on those things. So you need to have an effective.
I always tell people, my friends and family, that if you want to do business in Nigeria, you have to be open to do all the things a different way, because things like power, transportation, it's always going to be a problem in Nigeria. It's been there for years. They've not
Mhm.
Nothing has been done about it, so it's always going to be there. So don't complain about it. Find a solution to it. And like for power, for instance, a good solution will be solar power, right? And
Correct.
because that will make things a lot easier for you. Because if you depend solely on diesel, yeah, you might have the money to purchase the diesel. You might actually not even get the diesel. It could be scarce sometimes. That's doing the power of doing business in Nigeria. So
Exactly.
yeah,
You
it's
can't
you're
be
one of those. Yeah, go on.
no, I was gonna say you can be any way. There's no straight path towards India in
Yeah.
Nigeria. It's not like
Mm.
a straight path. You have to be very
No.
flexible. You have to be very,
Oh
very
man, you
dynamic.
have to. That's
You
just the
can
only way.
there is no formula. In other words, there's
Mm.
no formula in Nigeria.
But
What
but
works
but
today will
but
not
the
work
plus,
tomorrow.
the good thing about it is that because of our population, you would always still make it. You understand? No matter what you spend.
Absolutely.
Look at the communication companies in Nigeria, for instance. They power most of their system with generators and diesel power generators, and they still make money. MTN, for instance, did not make the kind of money they made in South Africa, where they have their main whatever from, because Nigeria has that population power to go about it, right? So it's a plus
Correct.
for us. So you spending so
Absolutely.
much to get things better for you to do business in Nigeria, it's always going to end up being a plus for your business, more profit for you in the long run. So that's the thing
I
about, you have to be open to things like that. Yeah, that's
absolutely,
good. So
absolutely. So yes,
yeah, go
we
on.
have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say that we have some viewers on the show. Amanda Son Farm, thank you and good evening to you. I believe that's from Nigeria. We also have Good Luck Edozim, also from Nigeria. How are you guys doing today? We have our guest today, Ernest Akpede from Akpede Farms, who is talking to us about inflation in, let's even put it in farming in general, because it's the same thing you go through in every aspect of farming, right? So it applies across the board, not just catfish alone. So the how now do we navigate through, it's always in there, and you've been able to point out some steps where we can make things a lot easier for the farm, right, or for your business in general. So how do you navigate the issue? How does biosecurity affect that financial, helps with the inflation or affects inflation as well?
Okay, so I was gonna say something about integrated farming,
Okay.
where you don't just focus on type of
Mm,
that how that helps out in this period because I am also looking into it. Remember, I said I'm currently paying farmers to get knowledge as we speak
yeah.
because I'm looking
Mm,
for in my farm as well. And how integrated farming, it's like an ecosystem where they work hand in hand. For instance, catfish farming. This water, you can use water to nurture or grow your other crops. Let's say maize, for instance, right? And then you take that water to plant maize, to like your crop. And then harvest time, you harvest the maize. You can choose to sell some part of it, but then you can use some part of the maize to go back into feed production.
Into
So you
feed production.
like help each of them. Even poultry. So if you get like a poultry farm alongside your catfish farm, you can use some products from the produce from the poultry to help you. So you're no longer buying maize from the open market right now to produce feed. It's all in-house, right? So
In-house,
if you
yes, yeah.
it's not something that's right away, it should be like a long-term project, for you. Like when I started my catfish farm, I knew that was not just that was the entrance of what I'm doing. It's just the
Yeah.
basic catfish farming. I am currently working on a deal to get like a hectare of land. What I want to do with that hectare is expand to other farming, like livestock. And it's pretty much just to do integrated farming. So with integrated farming, you can pull resources from one part of the farming to help out the other part of the
All the
farming.
part, yeah.
To one type of farming, and you're not also that will not also go to the open market for everything you need. You can
Yeah.
for some for some materials, within your farm, thereby saving the overall cost. And then you
Overall
are
cost, yeah.
able, by saving the overall cost, you are able to then put that money into your farm, and then you can balance things out even with high inflation, because inflation doesn't affect your maize to the point where you can take some of it to produce, or
To
soybean,
produce. Yeah.
soybean as well. Even the fish themselves, you can, like what I do is sometimes when I raise my production, I set aside like quantities of catfish that right. So when I need my fish meal, I'm not going to the market to buy a fish meal. I have
You
that
already have
within
it,
my
yeah, in-house.
exactly. So it's like trying for ways to and add to be and all within your farm space. So that's another way. I am currently, I only tell you the things that I do. That way I don't use other things. I tell you the things that I
Yeah.
do and how it works for me. So that's what I am working on. Now, although we don't have plans of setting up anything right now, but we're just trying to secure the land for that this year. Next year, that'll be like next year's project where we start the integrated model for farming. And the goal is to do that, besides being able to keep up production and within inflation season, we can also hire more people. Part of what got me into farming is to create employment, because
Employment, yeah.
I grew up 20 years of my life in Nigeria, and I had a really humbly beginning in Nigeria. So I know how things can be. So my projection is, okay, how can I use that? Agriculture was a good way to hire more. So and with this integrated farming, we definitely need more hands. And then
Mines, yeah.
we are projecting at least 5 people with like full-time staff. So it helps out. It helps out. So while you're trying to balance things in your farm, you should also look at other ways. If you are able to have extra land, you can go into integrated farming, and that would help you balance your production. Because you don't have to go to the open market for everything anymore.
Everything, yeah.
Particular segment of your farming to work on the other segment, and it just balances itself out. And then you still make your profit. You still make your profit. That's
Wise decision. Thank you so much, Ernest. I'm always, you're one of those that when I talk to, I can relax and just keep going. Oh yes, that's true, because you make things a lot easier for me because you know what you're talking about, and I'm always so glad to have you on the show, or even talk to you outside the show. And thank you so much for being part of the show.
always
If
good to
you
be here. Thank
if, thank you. If you like what we're doing, guys, do like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification button. And share to your family and friends as well. You never know. And remember what we always say, start something, learn to grow something, start buy a small you know goat or something, just do something, feed
Right.
your, it's going to help you in the long run, because that's the whole idea of our family. We're trying to like bring people together in this community where we can easily, do something, help ourselves grow something. And if no matter how small the space is, keep a goat, keep a small rabbit, keep, do something. It's going to help, at the long run. So, Ernest, we've been going back and forth about, how to ease things off. My questions, I'm still coming back to that same question as the issue of biosecurity. How does this affect inflation as well? How does it help, or does it actually, how, we just need to talk about that, because that's another major thing. How do you keep people from, you know, not don't let me use the word stealing, not taking out of your stock, not mismanaging unwanted guests? How do you keep things away from unwanted guests as well? Because I know
Yeah,
if someone keeps taking out of your stock, that's going to affect, that's inflation as well, one way or the other, because it's going to affect your bottom line. So
of course.
how do we cop this as well?
Okay, so actually, I think is a big, know how much you have. You will know when you lost. You will know when it's missing, right? So let's say you have 5,000 fishes. If you don't know that you have 5,000 fishes now and confirm that you have 5,000 fishes, when you harvest and you have 4,500, you will know that you are running a deficit of 500, right? So
Mm,
we always, and what I do is my farm is no longer open to the public unless I have a client, unless I have a
mm,
client that program, because I do consulting work. So just as I pay for other farmers
mm.
to get knowledge, I also charge the consultation. So when I have a client that says they want to visit, that's the only time I let my farm be accessible by that client. Usually,
Accessible.
my farm is not open to the public, so it's more like a
Yeah.
factory. It's only the
Mm,
staff that have to be there. And the fact
mm,
that they we do hold a meeting. We call it
yeah.
State of the Farm, where we
Mm,
go over our numbers. So if you tell me that I have 5,000 fishes, I have 5,000 fishes because I know that's what I paid for, right? So if we have a situation where some of the fishes die, then they have to show that report to me. They can take pictures of it, videos. That way we can subtract, because we do have a monthly report we go through to make sure that everything that it should be there is there. And I do go back every time, not all the time, but in Nigeria as well, so I can see these things for myself. So I don't definitely recommend you on a farm and stay out of Nigeria the whole time. That's you're gonna run at a loss. So you have to be at the forefront. But this is life. We can be at the place the entire time. Life happens. We have to go to other places to make sure what we have is there. But what I try to do is I am also working on implementing CCTV cameras for my staff. That's something I'm gonna do when next time in Nigeria, just to make sure. And that's one of the reason why into solar completely. Not really completely, but for most of what we do. That way,
mm.
we have a system that's always monitoring the entire place. And like I said,
Oh,
I
yeah.
monitor my farm to make sure and it's also to make sure that we also don't go into the ponds anymore,
Mm,
because when we started out, you have sea workers going on grabbing fish, and we'll come to find that some of them they are not. It's not. They don't. It doesn't help the fishes. It invites bacteria to the pond, and that what we do now is we use our nets to, if we need to salt or anything, we have a huge net that we throw into the pond, and we get our fishes out. I don't allow them into the ponds anymore. We've come to find out that that's not really helpful to them. And like I said, we don't allow the public to the farm anymore. So we have our target audience. Buy them wholesale every production. So we don't really need individuals to come into the farm unless we have like a special order. Then we can then say, okay, let's take it and let's fulfill this order. But
Okay.
of how our farm is, it's not really open to the public. It's more of I see it like a factory, right? We produce what we produce, and we sell customers. You know, so
Mm. All right, that's
that's how
great.
we go into our other type of farming. Like when we now expand next year to other types of farming, we are going to have like I said, other farms where they have where they treat. So you don't just step into the farm, you have to like wash or rinse your food. That way you don't
Mm.
introduce bacteria, you don't carry along bacteria into the farms, right? So
Into the farm, yeah, yeah.
even the we're not just securing just the profit, we're also securing the livestock that we're also raising,
Mm.
right? The fish that we're raising. That's how I try. Like I have two staffs that live in the farm because I have a farmhouse as well. So that's where
Okay.
they live. Every need is there. But I have staff
Mm.
that report. So we that they can account for whoever was responsible for that particular unit or that
Mm.
particular segment of the farm will have to explain what happened. So
Mm.
I keep a watch at my farm in terms of, especially knowing that I'm not in Nigeria. You know, whenever I'm not in Nigeria, I'm always particular how things are done. Like I'm
Mm.
there myself, I see things, right? But when I'm not there, they always have to report. I use an app. So when they snap a picture of a dead fish, they tell me the time, the date,
Mm.
tell me the location, which I don't really need, but everything is there. I have a report and everything. And that's what
Everything
I
is
do.
there, yeah.
That's what I give my manager. I
Mm.
give an iPhone. This is your iPhone, right? All these apps are in here. Whenever there's casualty and you have to take a picture, use this app to take the picture.
Mm.
It shows me information about that particular. Pictures and send to you
Mm.
and make you think, and then they're now selling those fishes, and then you think those fishes are dead. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's how I kind of keep a check. Whenever they send any image to me, I know that okay, this was taken on a particular date. It
Mm.
shows at the time. They can edit that. It's automated
Mm.
with the app. So that's
Mm.
science and kind of help with the farm. I hope that answers your question. Um,
Mm.
but
And
yeah, we
that's
just
great.
like to close what
Mm.
we do.
All right, and thank you so much for being part of the show once again. I'm very, very happy that you've been able to find that time to talk to us. And do you still have anything you want to talk about? Because, like I said, you make things easy for me because you give us all the information, just like boop boop boop, and everything. You've written everything down, I believe. You understand? So it's a lot. I couldn't even ask you anything because before I want to ask, you already talking about it. So I'm like, okay, let me just let him go on.
I'm always
So,
excited to be at your show. So whenever I have opportunity to be here, I just go
you're part of the family, and I'm hoping soon that when I visit Nigeria, I'm going to be in your farm, so that we can at
on.
least do a short video of how everything is and all that. So thank you so much, and any last words
Absolutely.
for us?
Yes, I was going to talk about this because I know that a lot of restaurants are concerned, especially with
Mm.
naira devaluation
Oh,
going on
okay.
right now, where
Mm.
the value for naira is just dropping really, really bad, and
Yeah,
a lot of
it's really
farmers, a
something.
lot of
Mm.
diaspora invest in Nigeria.
Mm.
How do I when I take that money back? It's almost nothing. It's always be like a loss at that point. Like if you put dollars in naira and then tell them
Mm.
to bring it back, the devaluation doesn't really affect the currency. So what I would say to that is, if you have the intention of going to farming and you're diaspora, this is how I see it as a long-term investment.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be something you are investing to get your money back. Only
Mm.
invest with a fund that you're willing to let go for
But let go. Yeah.
that way Nigeria keep working. So instead of you spending money all the time, you can start with a small project. And once
Mm.
that project succeeds, the funds from that project will go to the next project. For example, when I started my catfish farming, I used funds from here, of course, to set it up, right? So now it's already running and it's bringing money. So it's the same that's going to be used
Yeah.
to the other type of farm I'm trying to do. So it's going to get to the point where you're going to make so much, and when you bring it back, it will be worth your while, right? But
You
it
will watch your while.
will not be the fact that the
Mm.
naira is dropping, and then you then say, well, let me, you can also find a business to do here in America or whatever part of the West you are, outside Nigeria. But because you have to look at it, the population of Nigeria is expected to be about 400 million at 2050,
Oh
I believe.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to eat. Like money is not the first, it's the future as well. You
Mm.
know, it's the future as well. So we should be thinking more of long term. Wherever there
Mm.
is a problem, there is always a opportunity. We're
Mm.
not just Nigerians are investing in Nigeria, even foreigners are investing in Nigeria as well,
Oh
right?
yeah, bro.
Although that although that has dropped a bit with the current naira devaluation, but it's a
Mm.
good opportunity for us to invest. Um, you just have to have a good management system in place, and do not please relocate without visiting first. And
Mm.
make a few trips, build your network as well, right? So
Mm.
build your network. Know the people that you'll be doing business with, have your
Mm.
clientele that you're doing
Yeah.
business with. You can the project from here or from wherever part of the world you're in, and then visit from time to time, right?
Mm.
But trust me, this is the best time to, yeah, if you think long term. If you're thinking long term, then yes, because it will always go up. So I mean, I
Yeah.
think we're at the bare minimum, honestly, right now. The way things are in Nigeria, I think it can only get better from here. So we're at a really, really bad place right now, but I think
Mm.
as time goes on, it will get better. So this is an opportunity to
Yeah.
leverage on right now to set up in the market because the market, you gotta think we have Africa's largest economy, so we have a consuming power with a lot of people that will consume what you like.
Mm.
I have a target audience, right? So I don't sell to individuals. I sell to like
Mm.
corporate people who tell me I want X and X amount of
Amount.
like
Yeah.
okay, right? So even when I supply, they still calling, hey, you have fishes for me. I'm like, not yet. You have to wait for our next production, right? So if
Mm.
you leverage on the market, you can carve a niche for yourself.
Yeah.
It might take you a year or two to start getting your return on investment, depending on what you're investing on, right? But
Mm.
once you're able to stabilize your business, a solid foundation, it will only get better. So
You only
that's
get
just my
better.
advice for people, because I have a few friends that are asking me, I'm concerned about investing in Nigeria right now with a naira devaluation. Back to the country where they're located, where they're residing and
Mm.
on, it doesn't add up. So
Mm.
that's just my advice. Think past that. Just don't invest with money that you need right away. You
Mm.
know, invest with money that you're willing to let go for a while, for a little
For
bit.
a
That way,
while.
that money
Yeah.
can build for you in Nigeria.
I always see them as getting into agriculture, for instance, like trying to build a house back home. And okay,
Hmm.
I want to build this out and I want to have it for rent. You're not going to make your money in the first year, second year, third year. You understand? It's but the value is going to keep going up of that
Correct.
property, right? So that's the whole idea about that's the way I see it. As in agriculture is not a one-time thing where you say, oh, let me invest this amount of money and I'm going to get this and I'm out of it. No, it's something you're going to have to do over and over. It's over the years that you're going to see the worth in what you're doing. You understand? So
Absolutely.
that's where I say. So it's a powerful advice from you, as always. Thank you so much for being part of the show, for chatting with us, and like I said, you're part of the family in the house. So when we call again, you should be ready. That will to talk to us.
Absolutely.
You should be
Anytime
ready
you
to
call,
talk
I
to
answer.
us. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you so much. And you and I
Thank you for
will you and I will keep our gist going on at the back of at the end of the show. No problem.
Of course.
So I'm very grateful. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. Adama Son Farm, good luck. Tunde Yoda, that's our in-house person. Nkechi Nwokolo, thank you everybody for joining us. And those that are going to watch this after the live show, thank you so much also for being part of the family. And do remember to share to your families and friends. They would learn something from this. We've been talking to Ernest Akpede of Akpede Farms, and he knows his worth. He knows everything he's talking about. He's gone through it as well, so he's the go-to person to talk to, because he would help us out as much as possible. They do have their social media handle at on there as at Akpede Farms, right?
Akpede Farms. And
Yeah, that's
you
there.
can
Yeah,
also
if you
email info@akpedefarms.com.
there you go. So info@abadifarms.com. Also, you can send an email to him if you have any questions, or you want him to, consult for you, because this is the right. Well, that's the reason why we bring people like him on the show, because they'll be able to take you the right path, because they are doing it as well. So it's not the book how do they call it, the book agriculture or whatever one of my friend calls them, that yeah, they might be an animal scientist, but it's on book. They actually don't even, they've
No
never
practice.
handled an animal before. You understand? So you, so he knows what he's doing, and he will be the right source for information. And thank you so much once again. And everybody, if you're still, if you like what we're doing, please do subscribe, share with your family and friends, and to will come your way. Once again, it's Ayo signing out from FarmerHubTV. Cheers and have a lovely day.